Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of US 5-cent coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we're traveling back in time to the heart of World War II, the year 1943, to uncover the secrets behind a small but powerful piece of American history. The 1943 United States 5-cent coin. Don't be fooled by its simple appearance. This little nickel is more than just 5 cents. It's a piece of wartime ingenuity, full of mystery, unique characteristics, and for a lucky few, a hidden fortune. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll find out why this old coin could be worth more than $83,000. And how to tell if you have one of these rare gems hiding in your collection. Let's start with the story behind the coin. The year was 1943. The United States was deep into World War II. Resources like copper and nickel were critical to the war effort, needed for weapons, vehicles, and communication equipment. So, in a bold move, the U.S. Mint made a temporary change to the composition of the 5-cent coin. That year, instead of using traditional nickel and copper, the Mint created a special wartime alloy made of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. Yes, you heard that right. Silver. That means these wartime nickels, including the 1943 version, actually contain real silver, giving them intrinsic value far beyond their face value. But the surprises don't end there. The design on the 1943 nickel features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, just like modern nickels. But flip it over, and you'll see Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, along with a unique detail that makes this coin stand out. Look just above the dome of Monticello, and you'll see a large mint mark, either P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. Why is this important? Because 1943 was the first time ever that the Philadelphia Mint used a P mint mark on a coin. That alone makes the Philadelphia version historically significant. Now, here's where things get truly exciting, because not all 1943 nickels are created equal. Among these coins, a few rare varieties and minting errors have been discovered. And those are the coins that collectors chase relentlessly, the ones that turn a simple 5-cent piece into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Let's break down the errors that make this coin so valuable. First up, the overdate error. This is when remnants of one year are visible underneath the current year. While rare on the 1943 nickel specifically, similar errors in this series exist and can drastically raise a coin's value. Next, we have the double die error, one of the most coveted types of minting mistakes. On the 1943 5-cent coin, doubling may appear in the lettering, particularly in the words Monticello, United States of America, or the motto E pluribus unum. If you see thick or shadow-like doubling, you might be looking at a treasure. There are also examples of off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and leaves a blank crescent on one side of the coin. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the higher its value, especially if key features like Jefferson's profile or Monticello remain visible. But one of the rarest and most mysterious types is the wrong planchet error, where a 1943 5-cent coin was accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. These errors are unbelievably rare, and when authenticated, they command staggering prices at auction. And here's something most people overlook. Condition is everything. If you have a 1943 nickel that's scratched, worn, or heavily circulated, it might still be worth more than face value due to its silver content. But if you happen to have one in mint state condition, with sharp details, beautiful luster, and maybe even an error on top of it, you're entering serious collector territory. These top-tier coins are often graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and the highest graded examples have broken records at auction. If your coin is sitting in pristine condition and has one of the rare minting errors, you may want to sit down for this. Because now, the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much could one of these tiny 1943 5-cent coins actually be worth? Are you ready? If you happen to own a rare 1943 wartime nickel in uncirculated condition featuring a prominent mint error, such as a double die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet, its value could climb as high as $83,000. Yes, $83,000. That's not a dream. That's the real-world auction price some of these rare coins have achieved when discovered, certified, and present it to the right collector. So here's your call to action. Grab your old change jars, Search your coin albums. Check those inherited collections from your parents or grandparents, and keep a close eye out for that 1943 nickel. It might look simple. It might look worn, but it might just be the key to a small fortune. Top 2, we're unlocking the mystery behind one of the most iconic and widely circulated coins in American history, the 1964 Jefferson 5-cent coin. Now, you might be thinking, it's just an old nickel, right? Think again, because hidden among the millions of 1964 nickels are rare variations and minting errors so valuable, so extraordinary, that one of them, in the right condition, could be worth as much as $80,000. So grab your magnifying glass and settle in, because this is a story you don't want to miss. Let's start with a little history. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and has been a staple of American currency ever since. Featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse, this coin has stood the test of time. But 1964 was no ordinary year in coin history. It was a year of transition. In fact, it was the final year the U.S. Mint produced nickels with the date 1964 before major changes in American coinage took place. That year also marked the height of a coin shortage in the United States, which pushed the Mint to produce an unusually large number of nickels, over 2.8 billion of them. Now, with that kind of mintage, it might seem impossible that a 1964 nickel could ever be rare. But here's where things get interesting. While most 1964 nickels are common and worth face value, a small number are far from ordinary. These are the coins that collectors dream of, the ones with minting errors, special strikes, or exceptional conditions that make them incredibly valuable. Let's break down the types of rare 1964 nickels you should be hunting for. First up, the full steps variety. On the reverse side of the Jefferson nickel, at the base of Monticello, you'll find a set of steps. But because of weak strikes and worn dies, most 1964 nickels don't show these steps clearly. However, a rare few, especially those struck with fresh dies, display 5 or 6 sharp, unbroken steps. These coins are referred to as full steps nickels, and collectors go wild for them. Finding a 1964 nickel with full steps in mint state condition, especially graded MS 66 or higher, can raise its value into the thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on the quality. Next, let's talk about minting errors. This is where things get really exciting. Some 1964 nickels have been discovered with rare and valuable mistakes, including double die obverse errors, where the inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled. If the doubling is visible to the naked eye, you may be looking at a major rarity. Other known errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet flaws, and even repunched mint marks, particularly from the Denver Mint, marked with a D. These repunched marks happen when the mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions, creating a shadow effect. Then there are the proof-like nickels, struck with such precision and shine that they resemble proof coins, even though they weren't made for proof sets. These are extremely scarce and highly sought after by advanced collectors. There are even rumors and reported cases of 1964 nickels struck on silver planchets, though none have been officially confirmed. Still, such anomalies, if authenticated, would be worth a small fortune. And let's not forget about condition. A flawless coin, meaning no scratches, perfect luster, and crisp detail, can be the difference between a $5 coin and a 5-figure one. Coins that have been professionally graded at the highest levels, like MS 67 or MS 68, are incredibly rare, especially with full steps and clean surfaces. Now, here's something truly fascinating. Because of the coin shortage and the decision to halt the production of dated nickels after 1964, these coins were hoarded by the public, but only a tiny percentage survived in perfect condition. And even fewer carried the rare errors that collectors chased. So, you might be asking, is it really possible that a coin this common could be worth more than a luxury car? Well, here comes the moment you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to discover a 1964 Jefferson nickel with a rare minting error, in pristine, uncirculated condition, with full steps and verified by a professional grading service, congratulations, because your 5-cent coin could be worth as much as $80,000. Yes, you heard that right, $80,000. all from a coin that may have been passed to you in change, sitting in a drawer, or hiding in an old coin jar you haven't looked through in years. Don't overlook the nickels. Don't assume they're worthless, because among them could be a rare treasure, a tiny time capsule from 1964 that could change your life. Top 3. We're about to uncover the secrets of a seemingly ordinary coin that you've probably handled hundreds of times without giving it a second thought. That's right. We're talking about the 1975 United States 5-cent coin, better known as the Jefferson Nickel. But make no mistake, if you find the right one, in the right condition, with the right characteristics, you could be looking at a coin worth far more than its 5-cent face value. How much more? Stick with me, because near the end of this video, we'll reveal the jaw-dropping amount that one of these 1975 nickels was valued at, a number that will definitely make you dig through your pocket change tonight. Let's set the stage. The year was 1975. Gerald Ford was in the White House. Gas was just around 57 cents per gallon, and the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of coins for everyday use. The Jefferson Nickel, which had been circulating since 1938, was still going strong. Featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his beloved estate, Monticello on the reverse, it was, and still is, one of the most iconic and understated coins in American history. But here's the thing about coins. Even the most common year can hold a mystery, and 1975 is no exception. You see, while the U.S. Mint produced over 400 million nickels that year between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, only a tiny handful of those coins were struck with special characteristics or rare errors, the kind of details that collectors will pay thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars for. Let's talk about what makes the 1975 nickel so special and how you can spot the valuable ones. First up, condition is everything. Most of the 1975 nickels have long been circulated, tossed in jars, rubbed smooth in cash drawers, or lost between couch cushions. But once in a while, a collector stumbles upon a mint-state 1975 nickel, a coin that still shines as if it just left the mint yesterday. When these nickels are graded at the very top levels, like MS 66 or MS 67, they become rare. Why? Because it's extremely difficult to find a 1975 nickel with no wear, no scratches, perfect luster, and sharp detail. Even from a year of massive production, pristine examples are scarce. But now let's dive into the real treasures, the rare errors that make this nickel potentially worth a fortune. One of the most exciting types of errors in 1975 nickels is the double die error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice during minting, but the two impressions are slightly offset. The result? You'll notice doubling in the inscriptions like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date, 1975. In some cases, the doubling is bold enough to be seen without magnification, and that's when values start climbing. Next, there's the off-center strike. A 1975 nickel that was misaligned during production can have its design shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. The more off-center it is, especially if you can still read the date, the more valuable it becomes. Another fascinating error is the clipped planchet, where a portion of the coin is missing because the blank metal wasn't cut properly before striking. These types of errors are visually striking and immediately catch a collector's eye. And don't forget about the wrong planchet errors. Imagine a 1975 nickel struck on a penny or dime planchet. This mistake can lead to incredibly rare coins with odd colors, weights, and even incomplete designs. These coins are so rare they usually need to be authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC, but when verified, they can go for incredible sums. One of the most valuable versions of the 1975 nickel is a full-step specimen. On the reverse of the coin, below Monticello, you'll see a staircase, and in most coins, it's blurry or worn out from poor striking or overuse of the dies. But a full-steps nickel, where each step is visible and well-defined, is a prize for collectors. Only a very small percentage of 1975 nickels meet this condition, and when combined with high-grade preservation, their value can skyrocket. How do you know if you have a 1975 nickel that could be worth something? Here's what to look for. Check the date. Make sure it reads 1975. Look for mint marks, D for Denver, or no mint mark for Philadelphia. Inspect Monticello's steps. If they're sharp and fully visible, that's a big plus. Examine the lettering for signs of doubling. Look at the coin's edge. Is it off-center or missing part of the metal? Condition, condition, condition. The shinier and more perfect it looks, the better your odds. And remember, it's always a good idea to get your coin professionally graded if you suspect it's rare. That's what serious collectors and auction houses look for. Now, for the big reveal that you've stayed with us through history, rarity, and expert tips. But just how much could a 1975 nickel really be worth? Well, if you happen to have a 1975 5-cent coin in uncirculated mint condition, featuring a major error such as a double die or struck on the wrong planchet, and it has been authenticated and graded at the highest levels, you might be holding a coin worth as much as $78,000. Yes, $78,000 for a single nickel. That it's an incredible reminder that sometimes the smallest things, even the ones we overlook every day, can carry the biggest surprises. So go ahead, dig through your change jar, check that old coin collection from your grandparents, and keep an eye out for those nickels from 1975. Because you never know, the next time you hold a 5-cent coin in your hand, it might just change your life. Top 4, we're diving deep into a coin that millions of Americans have seen, spent, or tossed into a jar without a second thought. The 1990 Jefferson Nickel. Now, you might be thinking, 1990? That's not even that old. And you're right. But don't let its age fool you. This 5-cent coin has a few secrets up its sleeve. Secrets that could turn a simple piece of pocket change into a collector's dream. Because hidden among the countless 1990 nickels are rare varieties and errors that can command massive value. And one of them could be worth as much as $75,000. That's not hype. That's the magic of numismatics, where tiny minting details can mean big money to sit back, grab your coin collection, and let's uncover the mystery behind the 1995-cent piece. First, let's talk about the basics. The Jefferson Nickel has been around since 1938, featuring President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse. The design remained consistent for decades, including in 1990. That year, the U.S. Mint struck hundreds of millions of nickels for everyday use. Over 900 million. In fact, at first glance, the 1990 Jefferson Nickel seems like just another common coin. But that's what makes the rare ones so thrilling. Because when you have billions in circulation, even the slightest variation becomes a big deal. Now let's talk about what sets a valuable 1990 nickel apart. The biggest factor? Mint errors. These are the key to finding coins worth far more than face value. And yes, the 1990 nickel has some very special and very rare mistakes that collectors will pay huge premiums for. One of the most desirable errors is the double die. This happens when the coin is struck twice with a slightly shifted die. On the 1990 nickel, you'll want to look at the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1990. If any of those appear doubled, thickened letters, shadow-like outlines, you might be holding a double die error, and those are extremely collectible. Another exciting type of error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly centered during minting, causing the design to shift to one side. Sometimes, part of the coin is completely blank. If your 1990 nickel is off-center by 10% or more, especially if the date is still visible, it could be worth far more than 5 cents. There are also cases of clipped planchets, where a portion of the metal blank was cut off before the coin was struck. These clipped nickels have curved or missing sections, making them instantly recognizable and highly sought after. And here's a rare one: the wrong planchet error. That's when a nickel design was accidentally struck on a blank mint for another denomination, like a penny or a dime. These coins will have the wrong weight, strange coloration, or incomplete designs. They're extremely rare and can only be verified by a grading service, but they're worth serious money when found. But wait, there's more. One detail that serious collectors look for is called full steps. This refers to the number of visible steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse of the coin. On most nickels, those steps are blurry or flattened. But if your 1990 nickel shows 5 or 6 sharp, unbroken steps, it qualifies as a full-step specimen, and that can boost its value dramatically. Add in a mint error or a high grade, say MS 66 or higher, and now we're talking about serious money. And don't underestimate the power of condition. Most nickels from 1990 have been through decades of pockets, vending machines, and couch cushions. They're scratched, dulled, and worn. But if you happen to have one in mint state condition, untouched, with full luster and no wear, you've already got something rare. Combine that with a known error or full steps feature, and you're stepping into elite collector territory. You might be wondering, where are these nickels hiding? Well, the answer is just about anywhere. People have found valuable 1990 nickels in old coin rolls, change jars, inherited collections, and even pocket change. They're not common, but they're still out there. So what should you do? Start by checking your 1990 nickels. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and the Monticello steps. Use a magnifying glass or loupe. If something looks off, strange, or too perfect, don't ignore it. It could be a sign that you're holding something rare. And if you find something unusual, don't clean the coin. That can destroy its value. Instead, consider having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify its authenticity, grade its condition, and give it the certification that collectors trust. And now, the part you've been waiting for. What's the most a 1990 Jefferson nickel could be worth? Well, if you happen to find one with a dramatic error, like a major double die, a wrong planchet, or a high-grade full-step strike, and it's in pristine condition, that humble little 5-cent coin could be worth as much as $75,000. Yes, $75,000 for a single nickel. And the best part? That treasure might already be in your possession, just waiting to be discovered. Top 5, we're diving into a coin that might seem pretty ordinary at first glance. But don't be fooled. This little piece of metal holds some incredible secrets. We're talking about the 2005 United States 5-cent coin, the beloved Jefferson Nickel. Now, 2005 might not seem like a vintage year to many, but in the world of coin collecting, it's the subtle details, rare airs, and minting quirks that make all the difference. Believe it or not, some 2005 nickels have turned out to be insanely valuable, much more than their face value, and could be the hidden gem in your collection or loose change. So buckle up. Because today, we're going to explore why the 2005 Jefferson Nickel deserves your attention. We'll dig into what makes this coin rare, the kinds of errors to look for, and how collectors have been hunting for these treasure troves. Stick with me till the end, where I'll reveal just how much one of these nickels can fetch on the market. Spoiler alert, it's a jaw-dropping figure. Let's get started. First, a quick refresher on the coin itself. The Jefferson Nickel has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1938, with Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the front and his iconic Monticello estate on the back. The 2005 nickel belongs to the modern era but carries on the same design elements that coin lovers appreciate. Now, millions of these coins were minted in 2005 between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, making them fairly common in everyday circulation. But as always, rarity isn't just about how many were made. It's about the errors and unique characteristics that slip through the minting process. And this is where the magic happens. Point one of the most fascinating and valuable errors to watch for in the 2005 nickel is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck more than once during the minting process, but the dies are misaligned. The result? You'll see doubling or shadowing on the date, or on the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. For collectors, spotting this kind of doubling can be a game changer because such coins are super rare and highly sought after. Next up is the off-center strike error. Sometimes, a coin blank or planchet slips slightly during striking, causing the image to be pushed off the center. This can create some wild-looking nickels where part of Monticello or Jefferson's face might be missing, or a blank area is visible. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the higher the value tends to be. And yes, 2005 nickels with this error are out there, and they're collectors' favorites. Then we have the clipped planchet error, which is exactly what it sounds like. During the coin blanking process, the metal strip can sometimes be cut unevenly, leaving coins with a curved or missing portion. These clipped nickels are instantly recognizable and super rare in good condition. Another interesting variety is the wrong planchet error. Imagine a nickel design struck on a dime or penny planchet. These are extremely rare mistakes, but when authenticated, they fetch big money from serious collectors. And here's a detail that many might overlook: the full steps designation. On the reverse side of the nickel, the base of Monticello shows a set of steps. Most circulating nickels have these steps worn down or blurry due to poor strikes. But a 2005 nickel with full, sharp, unbroken steps? That coin instantly becomes more desirable to collectors who seek high-quality examples. Now, let's talk condition. Like any coin, wear and tear play a huge role in value. A 2005 nickel that's been dropped, scratched, or circulated heavily won't fetch much beyond face value. But a coin in mint state condition, especially one with errors or full steps, can command serious money at auction point. One final tip for collectors: if you think you found a valuable 2005 nickel, don't clean it or polish it. That can drastically reduce its value. Instead, get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC to authenticate and assess its condition. This certification is what serious collectors look for and what can drive prices into the thousands. So, what kind of money are we talking about for one of these rare 2005 nickels? If you come across a 2005 5-cent coin in mint state condition with a major error like a double die or a dramatic off-center strike, and it's authenticated by a professional grading service, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $73,000. Yes, $73,000 for a single nickel. That's the incredible power of rare coins and minting errors. So, next time you grab a handful of change, remember that one of those nickels might just be a secret fortune. Look closely, be curious, and never underestimate the value hidden in the coins we use every day. If you loved this deep dive into the 2005 nickel, smash that like button, subscribe for more coin discoveries, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Who knows what treasures we'll uncover together next? Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.